and I'm joined in studio by Yuka Royer. Good to have you with us this evening.
Hi,
Yuka, you are starting in Lebanon tonight, where the former governor of the country's central bank has been arrested. Take us through it.
Yeah, Riad Salameh, he headed Lebanon's central bank for 3 decades and was once lauded for reviving the country's economy. But his later years were marred by allegations of financial crimes, both at home and abroad. On Tuesday, he was arrested after a lengthy interrogation. The first time he faced Lebanon's judiciary since he left his position last year without a successor. Berika Bahel has the details.
It's here at the Justice Palace in Beirut that Riad Salameh, former governor of Lebanon's central bank, was arrested over several alleged corruption cases, according to reports. The country's caretaker justice minister has said he respects the judiciary's decision to arrest the former governor.
There is no doubt that the public prosecutor did what was required of him and interrogated former governor Riad Salameh. If there was no need for detention, Salameh wouldn't have been detained. But his decision was to detain him, and I respect every decision issued by the judiciary.
The arrest comes after years of accusations. Before leaving 30 years in his post July last year, 73-year-old Salameh's final years were marred by allegations of financial crimes, including illicit enrichment through public funds both at home and abroad. He's wanted by authorities in France with a red notice issued against him by Interpol. Salameh was widely celebrated for his role in Lebanon's economic recovery after a 15-year civil war. But he's also considered by many to be behind policies that led to the country's financial crisis since late 2019, which decimated the value of the Lebanese pound and sparked triple-digit inflation.
A lot of people are now happy to see him imprisoned, even if this is provisional and not final, since it might also lead to a final judgment in few months or years.
Salameh has vehemently denied any wrongdoing, arguing his wealth comes from inheritance, investments and his previous career as an investment banker.
Yuka, 9 years after Volkswagen admitted to cheating emissions tests, the former boss of the German auto giant is finally on trial over his alleged role in what was at the time called the Dieselgate scandal.
Yeah, this criminal trial of Martin Winterkorn had been delayed several times, mainly due to his health conditions. The 77-year-old stands accused of fraud, market manipulation and perjury in relation to the alleged role he played in the Dieselgate scandal. In 2015, the carmaker admitted that it had installed software to rig emissions test results, which affected 11 million cars worldwide and cost the company 30 billion euros in fines, legal costs and compensation. Winterkorn denies any wrongdoing. Here's his lawyer speaking earlier.
On behalf of our client, I would like to declare that he rejects the charges against him. We are firmly convinced that all the allegations against him can be refuted. In this respect, we are actually looking forward to the proceedings with composure.
Meanwhile, here in France, Yuka, the country starting up its long-delayed Flamanville 3 nuclear reactor, finally got the green light after numerous delays and cost overruns.
Numerous delays indeed. The operator Électricité de France says that the first nuclear fission chain reaction has indeed taken place at the new reactor, a key step in starting up the reactor. Now, this milestone comes after France's nuclear watchdog gave its green light after 12 years, and after 12 years behind schedule. The third-generation European pressurized water reactor, or EPR, is part of France's plan to renew its nuclear fleet and is the most powerful in the world. EDF says it aims for the reactor to reach 25% capacity by the autumn in order for it to be connected to the nation's power grid. When construction began in 2007, the utility expected it would only take 5 years to complete. Since then, the project has been plagued by repeated delays due to technical issues such as cracks in the concrete structure, increased safety requirements following the Fukushima disaster in Japan, and parts suppliers missing deadlines, among other reasons. Its cost, meanwhile, has quadrupled to 13.2 billion euros, though the French National Audit Office put its estimate at 19 billion euros. Sharon.
Moving on then, Yuka, take us through the markets. How do they react today?
Stocks tumbled this Tuesday, especially in the US. All of Wall Street's main indices ended trading in the red. The Dow Jones slid 1.5%, the S&P 500 down 2%, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq sank 3.25% as Nvidia shares dropped more than 8%. Other semiconductor stocks also declined on Tuesday amid fresh worries about the state of the US economy.
And finally, it's a staple of French cafes and restaurants. Dulux, it's an iconic brand to people here in France. It's tempered glass dishware. It has a reputation as being unbreakable, but it has been struggling financially, the company.
Yeah, the company has repeatedly fallen into administration amid dodgy buyouts, the pandemic, and the Russian energy crisis. 1 month ago, though, the business was taken over by its employees as a cooperative. On Monday, they held a grand reopening with ambitious targets for the future. Brian Quinn with the story.
This is the Dulux factory outside the French city of Orléans. These are the company's employees and, as of now, its owners. Famous for its tempered glass, repeatedly heated to over 1,300 degrees to boost its strength, in July the iconic French dishmaker officially became an employee-run cooperative.
Every vested employee who believed in this project from the start gets to have their say. The profits are gathered and distributed among employees instead of getting siphoned off by shareholders, and we reinvest in the business.
Like its products, the company itself has been through the fire. Starting in 1997, a series of buyouts eventually saw Dulux stripped down to near bankruptcy by an unscrupulous Turkish owner. It barely survived, then recovered, but the COVID pandemic and the explosion of energy prices amid Russia's war on Ukraine once again brought it near collapse, saved only by 15 million euros in government aid. Dulux once had some 1,500 employees. By the time their co-op bid was approved in late July, the number was just 230. The company faces a difficult road ahead. Sales fell from 31 million euros in 2022 to just 24.6 million last year.
Our goal is 40 million in revenues at 12% gross profits within 5 years. For that, we need to hire and train personnel. It's not machines that make glass, it's people.
It's an ambitious goal for these employee owners, whose determination is as unbreakable as the glassware they produce.
And that's it for business for now.
Yuka, thank you so much. That's Yuka Royer joining us there from our business desk.